Hey everyone, I'm Nate Fischer.
And I'm Dennis Stack.
And this is Cinema Buffs, and we are reviewing the reboot of Ghostbusters.
Got it. Ghostbusters.
Alright, so this week we are reviewing the reboot of Ghostbusters. Obviously next to me is not Dennis Stack, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Tom Ryan-Stout. Thanks for having me here. Really happy to be part of Cinema Buffs.
Absolutely. Tom actually designed our logo for Cinema Buffs, so if you want to know more about Tom, it's in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Having said that, Tom, let's just get right into it. I just want to know real quick, how do you feel about the original Ghostbusters?
I mean, by no means is it a holy grail, but I really enjoyed it as a kid and it was a lot of fun. Was it the same experience for you as a kid, or?
I mean, it was more so for me. I had the Ghostbusters jumpsuit. I had the figurines. I had the Ecto Coolers. I drank those all the time. I was obsessed with Ghostbusters. When we did Random Ass Movie Reviews, I put this as one of my top 5 most anticipated of 2016. And not for the simple fact that I really wanted to see it. I was wondering how it was going to be. So now that we have seen it, I think the first way to start this out is let's get into the cast. Let's get into the team of Ghostbusters. What did you think of the girls?
I have to give a shout out to Kate McKinnon straight away. I think that she was the role that allowed her comedy to flow through her character as opposed to like her personality.
Yes.
Her SNL personality or her TV sitcom personality. Totally. She just really killed it. And I was a little bit let down by Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. Leslie Jones is great, but I thought that as a whole they kind of synergized well together and they pulled it off.
I think so too. I think that there is chemistry between these girls. I would like to see them more together in future films. I think that Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy sort of stood off in the background a little bit. They could have utilized their comedy a little bit more. These are funny women. They're supposed to be very funny, and unfortunately they were the least funny of the cast.
Absolutely.
Out of all of them.
Absolutely.
I think that also Chris Hemsworth was a stand-up, which is a little bit of a bummer. I got the most laughs off of Chris Hemsworth.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
You didn't?
No. Chris Hemsworth was just kind of like eye candy. I mean, it really didn't do much for me.
I thought his dialogue was funny with the no lenses and the glasses. And
okay.
Sort of like how stupid he is.
But I feel like he was just being coached through it, and I don't think that it was authentic. It's kind of like residing with Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy. I feel like he was in the same league.
Authenticity is a great topic to touch on, where I found almost zero authenticity with this film. I felt like it was forced. The dialogue wasn't very well written. The girls, they do work together, but there just wasn't any flow. I just wasn't laughing that much. It almost seemed like they were making a home movie together. There was points where they'd be like, "Yep, we gotta do this."
Right.
And then they'd run off screen. I'm like, what is happening? Why isn't this... There's no tongue-in-cheek at all with this.
There was a lot of friction. A lot of friction. I definitely agree with that. And when it comes to... I tried not to compare it, right?
Same here.
As I try and forget about it, the cameos...
Yeah.
The cameos come through, right?
They
so
do.
As soon as I'm trying to remind myself not to compare this film, I am looking at it, and then there's the blatant reminder, the face, the exact moment, and I'm just like, what? Well, I can't even look at this.
I know.
And I don't think that as a film by itself, it stands out on its own. It relies too heavily on the original.
And that's what, we had a discussion before the film where I was like, I want this to stand on its own. I don't want it to use those nostalgic tropes to get me to like it, with the same one-liners, with the same characters, or with the same... And I think plot-wise, they steered away from the original plot in a bad way. The villain was horrible.
So bad.
Villain was worthless, and I also think that you're right. It was almost like the nostalgic elements was distracting.
Even the plot relied too heavily on you knowing the Ghostbusters lore. It just didn't. It didn't seem like there was an investment to me. Like I said, don't get me wrong, smiling the whole way through, like Kate McKinnon did the saves, but it just wasn't... I was like, am I watching Ghostbusters? Am I watching Ghostbusters, or is this like an SNL like spoof skit?
The only time I felt like it was actually Ghostbusters was the wide-angle shot with the clouds coming out of the building.
Yes.
But it was the exact replica of the shot of the original.
Totally.
The exact replica. Redeeming factors. Was there any redeeming factors in this film?
I mean...
Not really? I mean, To me,
I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted because here I am in the theater laughing, I'm having a good time, I'm shoving popcorn in my face. It's a good movie-going experience. Will I watch it again? No.
Never. I think that it was not an enjoyable movie-going experience. I think this movie was poorly executed. What bummed me out is that my favorite part of the movie was the opening sequence without the girls in it. I thought the opening sequence, I got like 4 or 5 pretty good chuckles off the opening sequence. I was like, this is funny. This is going to be good. This is going to be so good.
Right.
And then it goes into meeting these girls. I mean, just to not compare it too much to the original Ghostbusters, but the Ghostbusters, the original, these characters, you didn't have to know where they came from or why they were friends originally and why they had a falling out and all this crap that they tried to shove in your face with this. I felt like they wasted a lot of time. Another element of it is that the Ghostbusters aren't held in high regard. Not only that, the Ghostbusters themselves don't even want to be called Ghostbusters. They're like, what? The media invents the name for them.
Yeah, it happens by chance.
The Ghostbusters should have this pride. It should be New York City backing these girls up and being by their side, and instead they're completely repressed, and the media, they make a point that the media and the mayor are like, no, we're going to block this, we're going to make sure that no one knows anything about you. And I thought that was weak.
But on that topic, if we're going to hit like some side character talk, Cecily Strong was good too.
Yes.
Cecily Strong really made those moments where I was just like, well, what is this plot-wise? I was laughing the whole way through because she took it there.
She did. All right, let's talk a lot about the cameos, I guess. A lot of people were talking about how the original cast was completely all about this movie. They've been doing a lot of social media advertisement about it. Bill Murray's behind it. Dan Aykroyd's behind it. What did you think of the cameos?
Well, first of all, like I already said, they reminded me of the original, so that's already like kind of not working in favor. But also, the cameos, I feel like each and every one of them, when they showed up, they were kind of like poo-pooing the Ghostbusters in the movie.
Totally.
They're just like, yeah, I don't know who you are, what you are, I don't care. Like, get out of my face, girl.
Yeah.
Like, it was, so I don't know. I just didn't think that it worked. I mean, what did you feel the same way? Like,
I do. I feel the same way. I was excited when I saw them, and then I was disappointed at the end result.
Yeah.
At the end of the scene, I was like, so that's all they got. Oh, that's a bummer.
Well, they got on screen, and you were like, oh, there it is, and then you're just like, what?
I guess, all in all, put a score, 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I gotta hit it with a 5.
Going to 5?
I'm going to 5, and I feel like that's generous. But I did, like I said, all the way through, I enjoyed myself. I was laughing. It's fine, but like nothing I'm gonna see again. What about you?
I was checking my watch. I was feeling cringeworthy, awkward, and the most redeeming factor of this movie is how much it showed me that the original is one of the best movies of all time. And it always will be, and nothing could ever be that film. And to put that name on this is kind of blasphemy, but it is what it is. And I'll give it a 4. The lowest score I've ever had, but it is a 4 for sure. Buff. All right, everyone, that's our review for Ghostbusters The Reboot. What did you guys think? Please leave all your comments below. Also want to do a special thanks to Tom for coming out here and reviewing this with us. Appreciate it.
Cool, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Check us out next week. We will be reviewing
Lights Out. And don't forget, guys, there's no place like the theater.